Hey, do you remember game demos? Yeah, me neither. They're kind of a relic of a bygone era, and maybe that's why the demo of the remake of Resident Evil 2 is so apt. I actually haven't been following the hype for this game at all because I didn't play much of the original back in the day despite liking the franchise and having played many of the other games. I'm glad I gave it a shot though because I really enjoyed what I played, so I thought I'd make a quick video to give you the lowdown. Now just before we get into it, this video isn't going to be in my regular format. I thought I'd try something a bit more casual, so let me know if you think it sucks ass. So as you probably know, there is or was, depending on when you watch this video, a limited time demo that could only be downloaded between the 11th and 31st of January, and it only let you play for 30 minutes. You could die and continue as many times as you like, but once the 30 minutes was up, it was game over.
Game over, man! It's game over!
I actually think this was a clever move by Capcom. Leveraging the old Loss Aversion principle worked a treat on me, and I probably wouldn't have played it otherwise. Of course, if you wanted to spend more time with it, you could just simply create multiple accounts and play through it multiple times, and lots of people did just that. I wasn't hyped for it prior to playing the demo though, so I figured that doing that was more effort than it was worth.
Ain't nobody got time for that!
Now I did play 2017's Resident Evil 7, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was a welcome return to the series' roots after the less than spectacular Resident Evil 6 and also Resident Evil 5 to a certain degree too. I thought the move to first person in that game was a stroke of genius, so I was a little concerned that going back to the third person wouldn't be as immersive or scary. And while that's kind of true, it doesn't mean that the RE2 remake isn't either of those things. So just to give those of you who didn't play it a quick overview, the section of the game that was playable was when Leon first arrives at the police station. Now I have no idea how far into the game this is because, like I said, I never played through the original, but I believe it's just as the shit hits the fan, so I don't think there were any major spoilers. Now you could either charge through the demo and try to get to the end to unlock the trailer, or you could just take your time and explore. I chose just to take my time because without having played the original I didn't think that I'd get to the end. And really I just wanted to experience it in the same way that I would the full game. I also figured that the internet would hook me up with the trailer sooner or later anyway. So the first thing that I noticed when I first jumped in is just how atmospheric this game is. Again, not being in first person, I kind of doubted that it would be scary, but the art direction and the sound design put that concern to rest pretty goddamn fast. The sections where you've only got your torch to light your surroundings feel really claustrophobic, and every little sound makes you shit your pants. In many ways, it's a lot like RE7 in this department. This is definitely a game you'll want to play in the dark with a good pair of headphones. One of the biggest complaints I've heard is that the controls are sluggish and unresponsive, and to that I would have to say, have you ever played a Resident Evil game before? The early games are notorious for their janky tank controls, but while in those games the intuitiveness of the controls may have been partially a byproduct of the early years of 3D game design, the slow controls in this game feel like a deliberate choice to slow you down and control the pace. I mean, yeah, moving around feels like Leon took 2 Valiums and is walking through a wind tunnel, but if you were able to sprint around, the pacing would be totally ruined, and the zombies wouldn't be anywhere near as scary. Interacting with stuff is also a bit hit and miss, but again this just increases the tension, kind of like how the save points in Alien Isolation take forever to activate. I'd say if you don't like this design philosophy then Resident Evil 2 will probably piss you off, but as a fan of this technique I absolutely love it. Something else I love about survival horror is the puzzles, and this is one of the main reasons I like the Resident Evil series so much. Even in this short demo there was plenty of noggin scratches to figure out. I'm not really sure how far I made it through what was available in the demo, but based on some other videos I've seen there was a ton of stuff I missed. I'll admit I probably spent too much time messing around with the puzzles, but seeing this as such an important component of the game for me, I think it was time well spent. Like I said, I wanted to experience this in the same way I would without a time restriction, rather than attempting some kind of speedrun.
Look at the fucking pace!
My biggest complaint with many games that are supposed to have decent puzzle components is that they have really boring mission design. Instead of coming up with a creative way of getting you from point A to point B, they opt for boring fetch quests that require you to kill a bunch of bad guys and get a key. And while a lot of Resident Evil's game design boils down to this basic pattern of find a thing to open another thing and possibly kill some bad guys along the way, the Res games have always presented these objectives in interesting ways that make you think. Take this switch box all covered in tape for example. The game doesn't tell you how to interact with it or even what it's for. It's up to you to figure out what to do with it.
Spoiler, you cut it open with a knife.
In an age where so many games hold your hand, it's nice not to be babysat for a change. If it sounds like I'm trumpeting Nakey Jakey here, well, it's because I am. FYI, you should totally check out his channel if you don't know who I'm talking about. So, how about the combat? Well, just like the old Res games, it's slow and it centers around resource management. You need to make every shot count, and scavenging for every possible item is critical to ensure you're well equipped. Even still, running out of ammo is inevitable, so memorizing the map and running like hell, or briskly walking as it were, is still something you'll have to get good at. Even still, getting attacked at some point is going to happen, so along with ammo management, you'll need to make sure you've got plenty of herb.
Damn.
One thing I did find a little bit disappointing about the inventory management, but maybe something others will like, is that it pauses the gameplay. In RE7, you couldn't pause the game to manage your slots or craft items. This made jumping into the menus risky, particularly during a boss fight, and it made the game so much more stressful. Now, did I mention this game is gory as fuck too?
Oh my god, I can see inside this dude's head.
Resident Evil 7 was pretty messed up at times, but I don't remember seeing anyone's insides. I guess the original games were pretty violent, but when the character models are only made up of 10 polygons, there's way less detail. Yeah, if blood and guts isn't your thing, you might want to steer clear of this one, although given this is a game about a city overrun with zombies, you might say that's par for the course. So that's my quick impressions from the demo. I did come across a couple of minor graphical issues, but nothing major or distracting. Overall, it's a good looking game and it runs smooth as butter.
I can't believe it's not butter.
I did play it on the PS4 Pro, but according to the DF guys, it runs pretty well on the base PS4 and the Xbox One too. It's definitely cool that this exists, and it seems like Capcom have done a good job at bringing a classic into the modern age without losing the iconic feeling of the earlier games. This wasn't on my radar at all, and now I'm definitely itching to pick it up. Anyway, let me know if you played it and what you thought. If you have any questions, you know what to do, but otherwise, thanks for watching.